Hi, you guys. So, today we are going to talk about alcohol. Alcohol can be a little, I guess, taboo sometimes. I feel like it doesn't get talked about quite enough in the fitness and wellness world. I think it can be talked about, but a lot of people don't really want to talk about it because it can be tricky. Because we don't want to really tell people what they can and cannot do with their lifestyle. And I think when it comes to alcohol, it's there's a whole lifestyle involved, so people kind of tiptoe around it, but I think it's important to talk about. And I especially when we're trying to find our balance, right? Because with alcohol, what it does, the main thing that alcohol does is it creates imbalances in the body. It does create brain impairment, and it does impair motor skills, and does many things that make you out of balance. And when go out, have a night of drinking, and then you wake up in the morning with a hangover, that is the body being out of balance. That's the body when you're hungover. It's dehydrated. Your body's dehydrated. Your body's searching for a sugar balance, basically. Like you essentially wake up hypoglycemic, and your body needs sugar and water to find its balance again. So drinking alcohol, it creates imbalances in the body. And so I think it is really important to make sure that you take it into consideration if you are doing any kind of workouts or dietary changes, or if you're trying to lose weight or battle your mental health issues when it comes to like depression and anxiety. These alcohol is a factor, and so we can't always tiptoe around it, because I feel like those who tiptoe around it and don't really address it like they should, it ends up kind of slapping you in the face. And I just think it's really important. And I do discuss it in my book. I have a whole section on it. And because I think for me personally, it's been such a huge part of my life, because I've been bartending and in the service industry for so long, and it is my lifestyle. It has been my lifestyle. It still is. And so for me, it affects so many things. It affects the money I make. It affects the way I am with, customers. It's affected my life for, since I was a teenager. So I just think it's important to talk about, and I threw that in my book because, when you're talking about helping people transform and make lifestyle changes and create new healthy habits, alcohol has to be in there somewhere. And like I said, it's a little bit tricky, because I'm not here to tell people you need to stop drinking or otherwise you're not healthy, because that's not right either. Because for a lot of people, you can have alcohol in your life and still be really, really healthy. Like I know marathon runners and athletes that, still, have their alcoholic beverages, and they're good. But then there's other people, I'm one of them actually, that just, I have to be really careful. And, to be 100% honest, like I have made a lot of not good choices, and most of them, I would probably say most of them have stemmed from times when I was drinking and I was, impaired in some way. And, I have to look back on those times and go, oh, like I have no regrets, but man, things could have been a little bit different, So for me, I'm not sober. I'm not alcohol free. I do enjoy, I had a couple glasses of wine with my friend at dinner. I hadn't seen him in a while. But prior to that, I had a tequila on the rocks like a month ago when I went to a Mexican restaurant, and I wanted to, I enjoy, a nice tequila and a glass of wine every now and then. But I've had to make some drastic changes in my life when it comes to my alcohol consumption. And the reason being is because of my anxiety and because of the bouts of depression that I can get into, and because alcohol just doesn't, it's not really my friend anymore. I don't know if it was my friend along, other times, but I was so in it for so long. I don't know. There was a time in my life where I thought it was okay to be just a mess, you know what I mean? And everybody had to just take me as I was, and I had to really, I had to do a lot of work around it. And at the end of the day, for me, I just want to put the message out there that if you're a person who's struggling with this, you're not alone. If you're trying to make healthy changes and alcohol has been a part of your life for as long as you can remember your adult life, it's not easy. Like, it's not easy because it's not just about like, oh, I'm just, I feel like it's easier just to like cut out sugar or cut out bread or whatever, like you're cutting out a diet or whatever. But when it comes to, to drinking, it's a whole lifestyle change, and you have to really kind of own up to why you're doing it and how it's affecting you, and what kind of changes are you wanting to see. But I also think there's like this weird like peer pressure that goes along with it as well. So, if you're out to dinner with a friend and you're like, oh, no, I'm not on bread right now, they're like, okay, whatever. But if you say, no, I'm not drinking right now, they're like, why? Why? What's going on? Why? What do you mean? Just that you can just have one, like what? Like, and you get into this weird thing where you're like, oh, I don't want to be in this situation. And, over the last, year, or probably I guess a couple years, since I've really cut back on my drinking, I don't drink at work anymore. I don't really go out with friends anymore because it's something that I'm still working on. And so, putting myself in situations, going to bars and seeing people, like I miss people right now because that used to be my life. Like I would just leave and go. I have a lot of friends that work at bars, and I would just go and hang out with them at the bar and whatever. And now I just feel like I personally haven't been doing that because it puts me in a situation where it is my choice to say yes or no, but it's harder for me to say no when I'm there. You know what I mean? It's like I went out, I had a friend's like kind of a going away party. This was a couple months ago, and it was so good to see everybody and da 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 da. And then it was like, and I told myself I was like, I wasn't gonna drink, and I was just gonna go and have the food and da da da. And of course, there's like 3 people I know. 2 of them are bartenders that work there, and they're like, round of shots, da da da. And it's like for me, I start to get anxious because I'm like, I don't want to drink. And when I say no, thank you, I'm not drinking, they're like, come on, just one. And I'm like, okay, so even though it's my choice, like it's my choice to say no, and I could stick to my guns, I tend to not, because I'm like, okay, one won't hurt or whatever. But the back end of that is that it can hurt me because I do, I had a night a couple years ago where I woke up and didn't remember what happened the night before. I woke up sick, blah, blah, blah. I didn't even really drink that much, in my opinion. I don't know what happened. I was so depressed for a few days after that. I was like, I can't, this can happen to me because I do battle with these things in my head. I do have this anxious brain, and I do, alcohol can put me into a serious, serious funk. Like I get depressed and I start to really like, it's just not good for me. And it's like, it's like I have made these like choices in the past, and I've really not been myself when I'm drinking. And if anybody's watching this that has seen me in those moments, it's not pretty, and I'm not proud of that. And I can transform into a whole different person, and it's not the vibe. Like, and I just don't want to do that. And even though I feel much more emotionally stable and happy and balanced, now I still have those little things that I have to work on. And that's not something you want to tell everybody all the time. Obviously I'm just telling everybody here now, but not everybody wants to like unload their personal problems when they say, look, I'm just not drinking right now. And you say, why? It's like, because why not? Like, it doesn't matter, you know what I mean? And then to pressure people or to say just one or this or that, it's like, this can be a struggle for a lot of people. And I think it's really important that, especially if somebody is trying to change their lifestyle or their diet, there are a lot of people I know, and I think I'm really speaking to people who are around my age, like late 30s, 40s and things like that, where your body is changing and you can't metabolize things like you did before, and your liver isn't as happy with you anymore. And there's a lot of other conditions going on that you really have to be aware of when you get older, that alcohol might not, be a great idea for you if you're trying to make these habits change. I don't think I said that right. If you're trying to create these different habits. And I don't want to say like healthier habits or whatever, because I think a lot of people say like, oh, when you're drinking alcohol, you're unhealthy. And it's like, again, like everybody is so different. So it's like, it's just lifestyle changes are difficult. And if there's something going on with you in your body and your mind, and alcohol is affecting that, you have to think of, how can I make this change to better serve me, to get me to a better, more balanced, more strong, more stable place. And if cutting out alcohol is one of those things you need to do, then you should do it, because it really, it makes a big difference in your life, and it can expand into how, you treat others, and how you bring yourself to the table sometimes. So I just know firsthand that it's a struggle. I wouldn't consider myself an alcoholic in the past, but I mean, I don't want to say that I wasn't, because of the way that I drank. And like I said, I still have a glass of wine here and there, and I still love a good tequila on the rocks. Like I said, I'm not alcohol free, and I'm not telling anybody what to do. But I just know from my experience that it's a really, really, really tough change, especially when you're a person who's like social and likes to go out and likes to go to bars, and somebody who does enjoy, you know, that. And I just want people to know that it is difficult and it's not always easy, but it's okay to make these adjustments if you need to, because it can do wonders for you, for your body and your mind. And it's not just like cutting out alcohol, all of a sudden you're gonna be thin and happy. But it goes along with the things you're eating. Like, I know as soon as I have a couple drinks in me, I'm like, I want fried cheese and like fast food. And so I kind of like throw all my healthy habits that I've been doing for so long away, because I decided to have a couple drinks. And that alone is something that I just don't really want to do anymore. It's like every now and then, if I'm on vacation, things might, shift up a little bit, but even then, you know what I mean? It's like I sometimes, I don't want to be somebody that I know I'm not. And I think alcohol does that to me personally. And I want to have the conversation about it. And that's why I write about it in my book as well, because I just feel like you can't really be in like the fitness and wellness world and not address it every now and then, and ask people like, what is your relationship with this? And how much are you willing to change in order to get yourself in a really balanced and healthy mindset, and also into like into a stronger and more stable body? So I just want to put this video out there and encourage people to have the conversation, and also encourage people to support each other. Like, support each other. That's what we need so bad in this world in general. When somebody's trying to hold themselves accountable and, cut out, meat or dairy or whatever it is because something's going on with their body. And if one of those things is alcohol, it's just another thing they're consuming that might be harming them in some way. Support them. If, I'm a bartender, and if somebody comes to me and says, hey, I'm not drinking, like, don't tell my friends, I just want water, da 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 da, I'm like, absolutely. Like, I'm not going to try to upsell them and be like, it's like, I mean, I've served women who come in and they're like, I'm pregnant and I haven't told anybody yet, so make sure my shots are water. It's like, you have to like support those people and go, I got you, And so to me, it's like, I'm not that like pushy bartender, because I know how, like, when some people are trying to buy drinks for other people and people is like, no, I respect that. Like, I'm not going to try to force that on you to get my sales up, because I know how it feels to be in that situation. And sometimes you need to say no for whatever reason, and it's nobody else's business why. Whatever you got going on, you need to have a support system, and you need to have one person in your corner that's rooting for you and making sure that they have your back when you are trying to do whatever it is you're doing. Find that support system and make sure you can be that support system to somebody else, like, just because it can be hard out there. We live in a crazy world and crazy times, and alcohol is a vice for a lot of people. And if it's your vice and it's your thing and you don't want to give it up, absolutely, like, live your life. You know what I mean? Be you, do you. But if it's something that you're needing to change, make sure that you have a support system and take the steps that you need to make sure that you are taking care of you, because that's what it comes down to. Take care of your body, take care of your mental health, and try to help support each other. So that is my message for today. I hope this helps you find your balance a little bit better. And if you're interested in my book, it is out now, and I will put the links in, and you can kind of see what I have to discuss, because I feel like I threw it all in. So have a wonderful day, you guys. And if you have any questions, please reach out. Love you. Bye.